Pharaoh Romakrok, Wallaroo's first invader and the cause of its isolationism.
I will rise again and again!